Hello. Happy Wednesday. I was running around trying to get my cup of coffee made. I got a little backed up because my mother-in-law called me like right before, well, no, probably about like a half an hour ago, but it was as I was getting all of my things together. So I got a little backed up. But here we are. And I think that I have kind of a fun idea today, a little bit different than what we've been doing with the like kind of more intricate coloring. Now that there won't be any coloring, it is a Kelly card after all. So yeah, okay, let's look at what our things are. Are you guys having a good week so far? I have been caught in so many rainstorms. So many. Um ugh, today has been sunny and it's blue skies right now, but I am highly suspicious that it will, as soon as I have a doctor's appointment later today, as soon as I go to leave again my doctor's appointment, that it will just be a torrential downpour like it was the last time. Like literally the curb lanes, you could not drive in them. That is how much rain came down in such a short period of time. Oh Lord. Okay. So where's these moo cows? Okay, so these are the moo cows from the latest release. This background view here, this is with the tree. This is without the tree. This is the Farmhouse Fields scene builder. You guys know I love to make a scene, not in real life, but in card making. Um, Hello everyone. Um, so I am going to use this again because I think it's important to get as much use out of things as we can. And also, it was on my desk. So then I have pulled out this sentiment set. This is the You're So Extra. And I was looking kind of down here. Um, you always shine bright, those kinds of things, because do you remember 2 weeks ago when we did the truck card? We used this. This is the Big Pickup Americana add-on, and I told you that we can get extra uses out of this that do not involve the pickup truck, and that's what we're going to do today. We are going to use the fireworks in this set. Oh, do you see my Molly back there? I know Linda. Um, Linda and I live actually close to each other and have met in real life. And I'm probably going to start crying. Linda, I keep meaning to send you a card. Linda has recently lost her sweet puppy, Arthur. Um, and so I'm very sorry for your loss. I know that they are family and that's heartbreaking. And you are still on my mind to send a card to. I just haven't gotten there yet. So I apologize. Um, so anyway, we're going to use these fireworks in a whole other scene that does not involve the pickup truck. This is the on the farm. Um, so this has like a little farmhouse and a barn and the tractor and the fences and all that. We're not going to be using all that jazz. We're just going to be using the house, just the farmhouse in this one. Um, so yeah, my other dog, because I left my bedroom door open, my other dog is currently sleeping on our bed because she never gets the opportunity to because the door is mostly closed all the time. So yeah, let's start doing our things. While we chit chat. Do you guys have, well, it's not, I mean, I presume not everybody is from the US. Do you guys have plans for the 4th of July or just like, oh yeah, excited for a 4-day work week? Yes, for sure. For me, it's a little bit different because I work for myself. Like own my own business. So it means kind of like one less day to hustle my things, like to get all my things done. But I am excited to see my family and hang out in the pool and do the cookout thing. It's like I do still have to cook, but it's like the day before. So it's almost like a break from making dinner. Almost. Like, my mom and I used to joke that, like, no matter what you do, you cannot get away from making dinner. And I remember, this is kind I'm sure not everybody has the same kind of sense of humor, but I'll share it anyway. Um, that so after she was diagnosed with her, lung cancer, she had stopped over for something, and then she was like, "Well, I gotta go home because I gotta figure out what I'm gonna make for dinner." And then she turned around and looked at me, and she was like, "Stage 4 cancer, and you still gotta make dinner." I was like, "Oh, mama, ain't that the way of it?" You're never gonna get out of having to make dinner as an adult. So, Susan said the fireworks started around her place last week. Yes, my husband, who, because he works in law enforcement, and obviously I was also a dispatcher for years, people will always call in, and then we play the game of gunshots or fireworks. It's almost always fireworks, by the way. And he was never bothered by fireworks until we had our daughter. And now when they blow off fireworks, he literally is like, "I hate everybody. All of them." And I was like, "But you used to be them. You used to be the firework letter offer. And now that you have children, you hate it." I have to pull up, and this is no joke. Like I tell you guys all the time, I have to see the layering guide. I do have to see the layering guide on the farm. Okay. Download the layering guide here. And yes, I will. Indeed, I will. Right, so I'm going to put that over here, and then we'll bring you all back up over here so that way I can chat with you. Okay. So for my house, I need this piece. This piece is my roof. And this piece is my trim. And then I need the windows. Oh, really? One of your local fire departments is selling fireworks. That is interesting. Job security, I guess. Um, so those are the windows, and then the chimney and the door. Is that all of them? Because this looks like barn doors. I think that's it. And then obviously you could put the trees in, but I'm not even all about that. Because most of this you're not even gonna like well, most of the details you're not even gonna see anyway. So you get what I'm saying. Okay. Here it is. I could see it on the screen, but not in real life. All right, so now we're gonna put in our little house here so I can get this whole thing together. And then I think what we'll do is probably our local fire department set themselves on fire, burned up the building and both trucks. Oh my word. With Lisa, did they do that with fireworks? Or did something else happen? Well, Lisa said, like, not very confidence inspiring, but some rural areas, like, because the fire departments are so far out, that's why they have ponds so that they can, um, instead of having to bring water trucks because there aren't, fire hydrants, they like pump it right out of the pond. Okay, so that's all of these. Yes, I'm cutting them out of white, and it's kind of so I can manipulate my own shading. But you don't have to do that. You could absolutely cut these out of colored cardstock because, like I said, you're not going to see a lot of the detail anyway. And then I have the fireworks. I think I have the intention of my scene so far. God help us, I'm going to bring up my die cutting machine. Oh. Please know that I die cut on my floor and it is covered in dog hair. Feel free to judge if you want. I will not care. Okay. So, oh, I bumped you. I apologize. All right. So there we go. Brandon, these are still the same ones. They're still the same pieces, parts. Oh, here, let me clean out my, this is like a little catch-all thing that I've had in here. Oh, I'm dropping them, but I'm going to throw them away. Because I'm going to need the little cup for my house pieces. Yours is on the floor and covered in cat hair, huh, Susan? Girl after my own heart. Brandon, I'm not retiring them. Until they break, I will be using them because I am cheap. And I am unashamed of my cheapness. Okay. No, 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 no. Stay there. And I also have piles. I have piles on piles on piles. So let's just, this will be easiest, I think, to just take this out of here and ditch this. And my husband, like, God love him, he bought me new plates because Brandon actually said in a live that Eric was moderating, you know, like, hey, you could probably let those go now. It would be a good gift, Eric, if you're paying attention. So he did buy me new plates because he's very sweet. But he's all offended now that I haven't thrown them away, that I haven't gotten rid of the other one. And I'm like, when they go to heaven, I will get rid of them. But until then, where is my, I need my poker, my die release tool. Okay, so we got some roofs. This is the body of our house. This other roof, trim. I like to put all of the pieces in here because I don't know what I'm gonna need. Brandon said, as he should be. He should be offended I'm not using them. And I say, don't take it so personally. It's not a reflection on you or the gift that you gave. It is a reflection on my own cheapness. Okay. I'm just going to scrape all my little guys right in here. I did lose a little friend. I see that. Oh, Karen, don't worry about being late. Did you get my message? I emailed you back. I'm not great. Like, there's a section on my blog to like reach out. And with everything that had been going on, I was not great about checking my messages. I do try to be better about it. But so if you have sent me an email or a like contact form on my blog and I have not answered you, I'm getting to them. Okay. Yes, Carol, I do understand. I do understand because I'm not a die cut person either. I am coming around. I am coming around to being better about the dies now that I've kind of found now that I have kind of found like what works for me. I'm gonna cut this. This is at 5.5. I just want to make sure everything is straight. Nope, gonna have to go a little bit further out. There we go. Okay, that's that. Oh, Laura, you're in Southeast Ohio. Where are you at? I'm in Northeast Ohio. I need a coffee. Okay. Brandon, I can't craft without my readers anymore. It happens to all of us. Okay, so now that we have our die cut pieces parts out, let's start working on our background. So this is just an A2 piece of cardstock, and I'm gonna mark it. And then once I do that, I think I'm gonna zoom us in. Um, so I'm gonna lose my face. I'm gonna zoom in so that we can see what we're doing. So I'm just gonna take a pencil just so I can see. Maybe I don't want as much tree, so that way I can have more fireworks. Where do I want to put this house? Carol, where's your t-shirt from? This is from Jen Shirkus. So what is her website? Creative Chick. Um, they have a bunch of different ones. I like a V-neck t-shirt. I don't like a crew neck, typically. So I think I'll put my little house there, and then we'll have the little fireworks behind. So let me just, doesn't have to be perfect, just to give us an idea of where to stamp them at so that they will actually be seen. And then we shall commence with the ink blending. Okay. All right. Does anybody, they don't call it sitting Indian style anymore. They call it crisscross applesauce. Does anybody else like to sit that way in their chairs? I do. I like to sit that way when I'm crafting. I got to get over the hole in my thing. Okay. All right, here we are. So I need to move these plates. Okay. And I am going to use this because it has the sticky mat in it. So as soon as I get them unstuck from each other. Lisa, oh, you guys are talking about sitting on the floor. So this is a funny story. We've been in the pool a lot lately, which I love because I like swimming and I love being able to spend time with my kids. So sometimes, you know how it is when you have kids. Um, I need traction if I sat that way. I just let it's more the most comfortable position for me for some reason. Um, so anyhow, Caitlin, well, my son too, they're always like, watch this, do this, try this. And so she was trying to get me to do what she was doing, which was she's, learning how to put her face in the water with holding her breath and blowing the bubbles. Um, so she was doing that, but she was floating on her belly, and then she would pick her knees up and grab them with her hands. So like her hands were behind her back grabbing her feet. So she's like, "No, mommy, do this. No, mommy, do it like this." And so I was like, "Okay, girl, like I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do it." And I got the worst cramp in my hamstring. Like I was going down. It was taking me out. My my husband had to rub my leg. I was like, I'm like, no, in fact, mommy cannot do that. Any anxious dog firework tips? Hi, Dawn. Um, no, I don't have any. My dog also has firework anxiety and it's awful, but I do not have any for you. Okay, so there's this one. I think that's what we'll do. We'll do these ones kind of streaming up from the bottom and then like two big ones, but there are other options in here. Oh, look, they have a little tiny one. Can I fit that in here? I think I can. Okay. Oh, I'm going to catch the corner of it. I got to scoot it over just a little bit more. Okay. Have you tried the shirts? They do have medication for the dogs. We've tried trazodone and gabapentin, and neither one of them knocks my girl down enough. She still paces. Now she will, like, pass out from exhaustion afterward, but she still paces while it's going on. Um, I have also given them Benadryl because they have allergies, but it does work for sedation as well. Okay, so I'm going to treat with my anti-static tool because we are going to be doing some embossing. And where, I know it's been a while since I've used it, but where is it? Well, unfortunately, I cannot find my honeybee embossing ink, so we're going to use Versamark. And I'm also going to preheat my heat tool. So I'm going to grab that and turn it on. I think it should filter it out, but just in case it doesn't, just so you know what I'm doing. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp it down. And I'm going to do it a second time. Okay. Now I am going to, what is this? This should be the clear. And it is. Okay. So this is just clear embossing powder. So I'm going to sprinkle that on. Oh, thank you so much. The Highland cows are super cute. I really like the way that they came out. Okay, I'm just making sure everything is covered. Okay. And then I'm going to melt the clear embossing powder. Okay, I'm sure that it's probably pretty hard to see at the moment, but you can kind of see it shining in the light a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my oh, what did I do with that? Is it in a different pile? It might be in a different pile. There. And okay. What else? So I think we're going to do some, what do we like? We could do some red and maybe some lighter blue and maybe a little bit of yellow, I think. Did you know that one of those cows is a Highland cow and the other is a Texas Longhorn? from the Highland cow, like from the Horns and Hooves set? I did not know that. Okay, so I here's what I think we're gonna do. I think we're going to do the red and the yellow. And what else would play nice? Green, maybe? No. We'll just do the red and the yellow and see how it goes. Um, so I'm not going. These obviously are well seasoned. So I'm just going to use what's on here first and kind of go from there. And maybe up here. Do a little bit up here. What else can I guess I could do blue. Maybe some green. Let me try. Let me try the green. No, that's gonna look. Let me do it over here. Trying to avoid that red. And then what else? How about some pink? And where I pulled them all out. Oh, and then I set my things right on top of them. Genius. Blue. We'll just do a little bit of blue here and a little bit of blue over here. Okay. All right. So we kind of got like a rainbow of colors going on for our sky. And all of that was done without putting our um blending brushes into any ink. This is just what was left over on them. If you don't have seasoned brushes, like you have a brand new brush that has nothing on it, I would dip it in and then I would rub it off and then bring it to the paper. So now we're going to do the sky because we do need this to be dark in order for the fireworks to be seen. Oh, I'm in Mermaid Lagoon. What am I doing? I need salty ocean. Okay. So I'm kind of just looking for those open areas that I can bring this into because this part will help us kind of start to blend in that darkness. I prefer the larger brushes, but I am going to grab a smaller one um, so that I can kind of get in the in-betweens. Then from there, I'll be able to move into the slightly darker colors. This I'm not really going to add too much else to because that firework is kind of going off the paper. So this part over here, like coming out from behind the tree, is going to be the darkest. Okay. And then this is Uncharted Mariner, so we're working our way towards the darker sky colors. Another one that works really well, um, is doing like salty ocean, either prize ribbon or um, why can't I think the name of it? Prize ribbon or blueprint sketch, and then chip sapphire out to the black. That's another really good kind of sky combination. And then did I grab the black? I might have left it up there. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. And then out to the black. We are going to be very generous with our black because in order for the fireworks to appear light, there has to be contrast. So we have to be generous with the black in order for the technique to work. This looks like a complete hot mess right now, but hold tight. I'm going to get even a smaller brush. This is one of the more detailed blending brushes. I'm just kind of work that in there. Okay. Now we're going to work our way back because when we're putting down the color, like the color that you leave on top is going to be the one that kind of shines through. So right now it's looking kind of very drab and gray. And we want it to look more blue, like blue midnight sky. So going over with the darker blue colors is important to kind of bring it all together. All right. Then to the next. Oh, thanks, Julie. I'm glad that you feel like you're learning something. That's super fun. I figure we've been doing a lot of coloring, um, so it would be fun to do a little something else. Inking twice makes a huge difference. That is one of the things that like I tell people when they say that they don't get good coverage with distress inks and that's why they prefer the oxides, but it's not even true of just distress inks. It's true of any dye ink like that you would be using inks from another company to ink blend with. Like inking twice makes an enormous difference. It allows you to build up that color. So as previously stated, when you go in with the last color, it helps it to be the one that is the most prevalent. So I'm going to do that with these colors again as well. So that we can see some of that. What did I do with the green? There it is. Green was over here. I think we did a little bit of yellow down here too, didn't we? And what else did we do? Oh, we did pink. This one I might need. I might need to dip. If I was pink, I would probably be over here. So then here, I'll just get off most of the excess and then go in so that I can add that in there. Okay. All right. So now we're going to find where we put our die cut piece. That's important. And I'm just going to double check it to make sure that I am going to be happy with the way that that's looking. And I am. I think it looks super cool. And so this is a dry cloth. I'm just going to spritz it a little bit so it's just a little bit damp. And then you don't want it to be wet, just a little damp. And then we can go in and just kind of swoosh right over top of these to help that white come out. Okay. So I'm sure we'll play more with this just in a little bit. Let's move on to doing this. So now normally I would be like, let's use all the colors, um, so that we can see. Oh, you know what? I gotta move you. I'm sorry. I think my twisted citron is underneath here. So what can I swap it out with? How about peacock feathers? I use it to balance my camera. There it is. Of course, it's always the very last pile. Okay, now I'm going to get us back in business here. My apologies for the roller coaster ride. Okay, and I still need rustic wilderness. Is that in this pile back here? It might be. Hmm. Hmm. I agree, Susan. Murphy's Law is the other day. I was having a very hard day. And it just seemed like nothing was going right. And I told my husband, I was like, it just feels like from the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to bed, life is just like a series of inconveniences until you go to sleep again. Like that is how that day felt. I did not enjoy it. Okay. So I'm also going to grab a brown. It doesn't really matter which brown because it's going to be like it's not going to have much light on it. So let me grab my brown because I forgot about it. just being honest, I forgot about the brown. Okay. So we're just gonna do, even though like these are all different layers, we're not gonna do a bunch of different colors. Because that's not the focal point of the scene. So there really is there's no reason to spend the time doing it. I am looking for a little piece of scrap paper though, so that I can slide it in between. Do I have one? Maybe over here. This will do nicely. Okay. So, how are Peanut's guitar lessons going? They're going pretty well. He was really like, "Hey, I'm super into this" in the beginning. And I say in the beginning knowing that it's only been a couple of weeks. Sometimes he gets a little caught up in like his video games or playing outside with his friends, and I have to remind him like we need to be practicing. So he is on that struggle bus of trying to find a balance between all the things that he wants to do and the things that he is now committed to. So, but honestly, aren't most adults also on the struggle bus with that, or is it just me? So here, normally I would clean my mat so I didn't pick up any of the other colors, but it doesn't matter. Not for this one. So this is the lightest color, and this is going to be the highlight color. This will be what you will see the absolute least of. It's just going to be on the edges. So you do see me like holding them with my hand because I don't want to rip them. And then I'm also going to get the tree with this as well. So, do you guys typically do ink blending to color your images, or do you color with markers or something else, another medium? Okay, so that's good. Now, our light source is here. So, as that light comes out, it's going to radiate this way. Well, I wish I could do it. It's going to radiate this way. So, you're going to have more light here and here than you will necessarily over here. So, the next one. So part is going to be the darker kind of corner of things. I am going to carry this all the way across because even where it's going to light up our lawn, um, we still will have some darkness along the bottom. We will definitely have more darkness in this corner, so we will be more generous with that. But we do want to make sure that we are leaving some of that highlight color along that top edge. So now the reason we need the scrap paper is to cover this lighter edge while we add the darker part to this section. So this is under the tree. Again, not going to catch very much light, but as we move down into the section with the fireworks, this will catch much more light. And it's okay if a lot of the ink blending ends up on the scrap piece of paper, because we're just trying to get that edge and maybe like a quarter of an inch up because this is a small section. Okay. And then now we can see this remains light. We have added the shading there, and we're going to do the same thing on this one. And you could for sure do like different colors, um, different color greens, more yellow greens, more blue greens, just like we do that to have the color variation on a day scene. But because uh this is more of a night scene, it doesn't really seem like it would be worth all of the effort since we're only going to see that highlight color anyway. Okay, so there we should have 3 distinct sections. And then this, again, this does have stencils with it if you were interested in doing that, uh, rather than having to kind of make it up as you go. But for this type of technique, I don't see the purpose in using the stencils because we're changing it up by putting in a light source. So all of this is going to be super dark. The edges over here is what's going to be light. So even under here will be darker. Dawn does some Lori said she loves to watercolor and Dawn makes it look so easy. Dawn does make it look so easy because she's, practiced so much, but also because she is, she has a natural kind of eye for it, but she still does practice her techniques. And I only know that because I get to see them because she sends me pictures. Okay, so now on to the darkest color. Well, the darkest shade of green before we get to the black. So we're bringing this in. To really bolster up that darkness. Same thing down here. Bring that in so that it's darker. Can you hear the little squeaking? It's terrible. Okay, now I need my little blocker back, my scrap piece. Just like that. Let me make sure I'm got the whole thing covered. And don't forget that I am a person who ink blends twice. So that's part of the reason why you see me um, kind of letting it be a little bit less blended is because I know that I'm still coming back in with two further colors. So where these trees are taller, we want to bring up that darkness higher because regardless of how tall the tree is, only the edge is going to catch the light. Okay. I'm just going to leave that right there actually because now we're going to come in with that black again. And the black, like, never ends up like, when you're doing stuff like this, the black never really ends up looking like a true black. It only looks like a darker version of the color that you're inking because it's not solid. I mean, I'm sure you could add it till it was solid, but, for the most part, we don't do that. This one these are actually 2 separate hills, but I'm not treating them that way for this purpose. Come on. Why do you keep popping back out of there? Get in. Get in there. Okay. And then the last one. Oh, I just lost I keep my ink blending brushes up here on the shelf, and I just lost one. Just lost one. All right. And then the tree. Get that. Bring that in. I am. Normally, I don't switch colors in the middle, but I'm just going to pop in and do those browns so that I can do the black all at one time, like down the side of it, and just be done with it. Okay, so here we go with the gathered twigs. Okay, and then I come in with a little bit of a darker walnut stain. And now we can go back to using our black so that everything blends in. There we go. Okay. Nope. Yes. Like, what am I doing? Okay. So now we can do this one first. We're back to the rustic wilderness and we're bringing that up. And again, we want this corner to be darker and these highlight areas where the light is going to be reflecting to be lighter. That is one of the reasons why it's super important when you're using a light source to pay attention to how it's going to hit all of the areas. And even though darker colors are scary, and I don't disagree with that, we need them to create the contrast to make our scenes look alive. We don't need that right now. Okay, we're going to go right over our black, blend out the green. Okay. Brandon, I have not seen your card, but I am very excited. There's lots of chit chat about it. So I'm super excited to see what your card looks like. All right. So this is the mowed lawn. So we're almost done going all the way back through. And you should be able to tell that it's green. But there should definitely be some contrast. Pull that down so I can really get in there. All right. And then this one. Did we do the tree? I feel it looks like we did the tree. I think we did it. Okay. And then the last one, back out to the twisted citron. So I'm going to come in from the edge there and be generous so that the edge is nice and solid. And I don't have to worry about masking this part because this is the lightest color, so it's certainly not going to cover up any of those darker, more shaded colors. Alrighty. So now we've got our glow. Oh, they are. They are. The hands are definitely inky. Okay. So now we're going to double check again to make sure we're happy with how that's looking. And You can see it kind of starts to put it into perspective how the glow is gonna come from there. Um, Here, one of the things that I am noticing is I don't have quite enough contrast, which is one of the things that, we do kind of have to play around with. Um, Usually, I do end up having to go back and add more contrast, because, like you guys, we talk about like how dark colors are scary and things like that. I mean, that's how all of us are. Like, none of us are, like, super confident when it comes to putting in the darks. So, we have to sometimes go back and do it again, and that's okay. We can build it up till we're happy with it. So now that looks a little bit more light, which I am liking. I check it again back against here. I'm liking that contrast better. I feel like those fireworks are popping now. I am gonna go I think I'm gonna go back in with a Little Mermaid Lagoon. I want it to be, I don't know if I have the patience to do all the ink blending. So Brandon is right. You can, ink blend over colored cardstock to save time. It just doesn't necessarily give you as much control, um, as it will if you take the time to do all of the layers. I just want this to be a little bit brighter. That's all. Okay. All right. So now we got that and that. I am not mad about it. I think they're really cute, like that. And then we'll get our little house in here, I think. Right? That's how we're going to look. So this is me being just myself. Like, looking at it now, I'm like, I don't love that it's all the same color. And I don't love that it's all the same color. So we just did all this ink blending. Am I going to do it all again? No, I'm not going to do it all again. Is there a quicker way to change the color? Yes, there is. So I'm going to do that. So by going in with a blue over the green, I will be able to tint it to look as if we used maybe a blue green in the first place. It's still going to be lighter than the rest of it. It's just going to be a different shade of lighter. What else do I want to do? I think I'm going to go in with some yellow. I think I'm going to do the yellow on this first one and make that look really bright. Just so we have some color variation. Again, it's not necessary, but like my brain doesn't like that they're all three the same color. So already I am liking that better. I feel like the card is more interesting to look at now. I am liking this better. Okay, so we did that, we did that. Let's clean up our inking and our hands to the best of our ability. Brandon said he thought his background looked good. What background are we talking about? Is it something I missed? What did I miss? Okay. So, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, did you do this kind of ink blending that we're doing today? What are the chances? Okay. So I am happier with that. All right, let's talk about this house. Oh my gosh, you used all the same stuff? Oh my gosh, Brandon, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. All right. So let's look at our pieces parts for our house. This is just like a way to kind of bring everything together and set our scene. So I need to bring up back up that layering stencil for my own self. Well, where is it? On which tab should it be? How many tabs do you have open on your computer right now? Like this can't possibly be just me, right? There it is. Okay, I'm gonna do it over here so I can still watch the comments. All right, there we go. And okay. Do. So I am gonna do like what I never do, which is I'm gonna put it together before I color it because this is not about details. As you can see, the focal point is supposed to be the fireworks. It's not supposed to be, the house and all of those things. So I'm gonna put it together and then we will color it. So let me where where would one put their tweezers? Does anybody know? Where would one put her these will do. Okay. Thank God I have multiple pairs. This is our main house, and then we're going to put on our roof. And so I saw a lot of oof, all of those pieces, and I definitely can understand that. I definitely can understand that feeling. Putting them all together does make it easier to color them as a whole. Um, but it does not allow you to get as much detail as if you did them separately. So there's that. And then this is oh, I gotta do the windows. I gotta do the windows, y'all. Okay. So you go here. And I do find like there's certain houses that I find to be easier to put together. Um, this one is one of them. I've used this in another card where we kind of did a little autumn scene with this farmhouse fields set, but we did like all the colors of autumn in a video. And so I have put this one together and I didn't remember wanting to pull my hair out. So truthfully, that is part of the reason why I picked this one again. Just being honest with you. So then each of these has a window sill. You know who is great with all of the if you are a person who likes little all of the pieces, on the design team, Keiko, she does amazing, amazing stuff with all of the lovely layers that have all, like, the little pieces. Fantastic. I did see somebody asking where they could see Brandon's cards. Brandon's also on the design team. And you can always, if you have Facebook, um, there is a group, a challenge. It's called a challenge group, but really it's basically there is a challenge that's hosted there every month, but that's also where we all share our good things. Or if you have Instagram, Honeybee also has their own Instagram that you can follow and see all of everybody's good stuff. This is the door here. This is the inside of this. So this right here is the porch. What are those called? Columns? Like so. And so I'm just going to use little dots. Dot, 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 dot. And then put that down right on there. Oh, I got to scoot it over just a little bit. Maybe I can slide it. So that is that. And then this one goes on the top. I have been, I mean, it's self-admittedly, I have been not been great at sharing over on Instagram, which is also then connected to my own Facebook. So I do need to get better about that. And then the chimney, and I think the chimney top is the last bit of it. But do I even have, oh, it's in here. I left it in the cup. What weight of paper am I using? I am using Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock. That is the one that I prefer for my coloring. So since I color almost everything, that is the one that I purchase in bulk. Okay. All right. So now these are just all of the extra cutout pieces. Like I said, I don't pitch those until I'm done putting everything together and I know that I don't need them. Okay. So now we got our little tree. We got all our rolling hills here. We're going to put our house here under the little tree. And that light source is still going to come this way. So, mm, 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 mm. I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do navy because it'll kind of play off the sky. So let me see what I can find here. All of my stuff is such a disaster right now because I've cleaned nothing up. It is my own doing. All right, 99 and 95. And I'm gonna do a C9, which will help knock it back. And then the same thing, I'm gonna do the door, and just keep knocking things over. And just keep knocking things over. That's an R35. That's not what I want. I want an R59. And a 29. Here we go. And then for the trim, I think you guys are going to think I'm a little bit crazy, but I think that we're going to try some white. Okay. So now we have to remember our light source is coming in from this way. That's kind of the opposite of what I normally do, but that's what's happening. So we're going to do the lightest part first, which is going to be the white trim. So this is what I've picked out for here. Yes, it is dark for white, but we have to remember it's a night scene. So I am going to, like, the light source is coming in from this way, so all of my shadows are going to be down and to the right. This part over here really isn't even going to catch any light at all. Underneath. Yes, I am coloring on the house. I am not worried about that because it will be covered up by the other colors of the house. Okay. I know it looks crazy. Hang tight. Okay. And sometimes it's okay to turn it to make sure that you're getting the colors everywhere that you need to get them. Since I glued beforehand, I can see I have this little bit of a white border. We don't want that stark white. And really the only part that is going to have the lightest colors is going to be this section right here, because that's where, oh, I guess we could do the chimney this color as well. So this is going to be dark. This is going to be dark. Just filling in those darker colors and then up to that. This would make a great light up card. That would be fun. I probably have some that I could use if I was, I forgot the C3 on this one. If I had thought about it beforehand. Is that something you guys would like to do at some point? Would you like to do a light up card or a more interactive card? Okay. And I am going to do the chimney. And then the 3. Oh, and then the 1. Okay. Now onto the blue. So I'm going to use this. Oh, good. You guys would like to do a light up card? Okay. I can handle that. So this is going to act as my darkest shadow color because the B99 is dark, but it's not as dark as I would prefer it. So remember, our light source is coming in this way. So that's why we're adding the shadows down and to the right. We also have, oh, I got to do the roof. We'll do the roof black. All right, hold on. let me get the house done, and then I'll come back and do the roof, 'cause I'm starting to add shadows crazy places. Okay, so all of the shadows are down and to the right on the house, and also next to this. Okay, then I'm gonna go in with the blue. I am using the farmhouse fields and the on the farm dyes. So this is that blue. So we're going right over top of that. I'm going to be careful to try to leave that lighter edge there. Okay, go right over top of this. And then in here, this is going to be mostly dark because it's a covered porch. So there's not a lot of opportunity for light to get in there. Okay. Mm, and go around the window. This part will all be dark over here. Oh, Karen, your craft room is a mess. So is mine. Like a constant battle to try and stay on top of things. Uh, and I most days am fail I'm failing miserably. All right, so this is going to be my lightest color down into these sections because, like I said, we don't we're not getting any light in there. Then for this one out here, I'll do the 95, and then same thing kind of over here to have that be a little bit lighter. Okay. Now we're going to knock out the door real quick, which we're going to do red because would it be a farmhouse if it didn't have a red door? So my darkest color going to go kind of to the bottom right corner there. And then this is normally my dark mid-tone is going to be my lightest color there. For the roof, I am going to just do black. Not just like completely black, but that's the vibe we're going for is black. So we have to add some black underneath there, black there. Now the light source is coming in this way. So I'm going to say that the black is going to be like this. And we'll kind of extend it out a little bit. And then we'll use a C9 to start working towards that glowy part, going over that black, stretching it out. And then the C7. Oh, you guys are talking about people throwing out your cards. I totally understand, like, when you spend time on it, like, how it would hurt your feelings, but and this sounds really selfish. For me, making the card is about the joy of making the card, and then when I send it and then they're happy with it, like, "Hey, I was thinking of you," but then if they wanna throw it away, I don't care because the whole purpose was that I wanted to make I wanted to make it. All right, so here I'm just going back in with the C1 to kind of clean up any edges. I know I've gotten some darker colors on the windows where maybe I didn't want it to be dark because I did glue it together beforehand. All right, so that is our house. So now we're going to put this in. We're going to check our house. to see if we're happy with how that's looking. And so right away, I can tell this is not dark enough because it's not glowing. So this already is, even though we've gotten it pretty dark, it's not dark enough. We could go normally, I'm just being honest, normally I would go back in with my markers and I would make it darker. But since we are here and we've already been here for so long, not that I don't enjoy spending time with you guys, I do. Um, but I'm sure that you have other things that you would like to move on to with your life. I am just going to do it with an ink blender. So I know that this half of my house, don't be scared. I know it's dark. Don't be scared. Needs to be dark. And now, when it sits in the scene, it has the light that would be coming on it. If you feel like maybe it is a little too dark, which it may be, you could go in, gently and kind of buff some of it off. But then I do think somebody had mentioned, who was it? We're going to use our little cheater sheet here. And I am going to, where's that pencil? Okay. Where? Got here and got here. Let's double check that we got good placement. Okay, that's cute. And then I'm just going to cut on the inside of these lines because they don't have to be perfect. I just need to make sure it's not going to show when I glue it behind there. Okay. And let me just line that up. Okay, so now we have our little lights on, which I think is super cute. And now I think we can glue our things together. I need this tree to be like this. Okay. Oh, let's do the sentiment. May you always shine bright. I think that was going to be our sentiment. Do I used up some scrap black cardstock, I think. Oh, but I bet you it'll fit right there. Will it? Perfect. Okay. You make 100 cards for what? What do we make 100 cards for? Now I need the little guy. Excuse me. Let's get that out. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now I do need my anti-static tool. Super important. And this time we're going to be stamping in the Brilliant White pigment ink. Okay. I need my scrap piece of paper. Okay. One or two little stragglers. Hi, Cassidy. Okay. Yep. And this does have coordinating dies, which I love. I clearly need to eat something. My tummy is making noises. Are you're talking about the why can't I think? The powder tool dulls the paper. It does, but I typically just buff it off on my pants and that works fine. Okay. So here is our sentiment. Come on. Thank you. So it is dull. But I can't show. Well, can I show you on my arm? Like I just buff it, and then it gets the powder the powder off. Okay. So now fireworks, cute little house, sentiment. Maybe my cute little house needs to go this way. Sentiment. Underneath? No. Don't like that. Up by the tree. Doesn't feel balanced. Down here? Better. Okay. So now comes the gluing. Gotta get all those little teeny tiny bits so that everything stays stuck down. And then, so the part that is most important to me is the part where I line up the tree because I need that to work around my fireworks. Okay. It's a little too high, I think. Okay, there we go. And then can kind of, you're up a little too high, sir. Okay. And my last little guy. Okay. So my trunk is not even on there, which is fine because it's still going to give us that tree in the sky kind of look. And then it obviously, if you wanted more fireworks, you could just cut off that tree. So let me trim off my extra here. Mhm, mhm. And then I do need to get this top piece. Okay. So now we have our scene kind of trimmed down. Of our little house over here. Mm, like that, maybe? Maybe like this. That feels a little bit better. Okay. So I'm going to glue this down. And this guy is a little bit higher than the sentiment. Okay, I am going to go in um, and just add a little bit of shading underneath my house. So if we go this way, and this would be in shadow as well. Okay, just so that it has a little bit. You could do like a full on like shadow, but that's a whole nother technique. Maybe we can do another time. Okay, tweezers, tweezers, where did you go? Okay, and then we can put our little sentiment right in here, up a little higher maybe, right in here. Okay, very cute, very cute. And so, we're going to add some glitters. We're going to add some highlights because that is how we roll. So I kind of like the idea of adding a little bit of extra kind of in here to not to fill it up completely, but to just help make it feel a little fuller. You can also, like if you wanted to do, like a little like sparkly star, what I'm talking about, where we flick them out. So it really looks like, it's the grand finale of the night. Um, so those are just like a little bit nicer filled in. I'm also going to use my white gel pen to add a highlight to my chimney, to the side of the house or the side of the roof there, along this edge of the roof, along this edge of the roof, because that would be catching some light there. And then you can add them here to the windows as well. I'm not going to do this one down here because it just wouldn't be catching that much light. And then you could also do, the tree if you want. You could do like little leaf with a marker. You could do like little leaf patterns in there. We could also add a highlight along the hills within the trees. Again, not down here, to just really kind of, pull the whole thing together. Then the shimmers, these shimmers at least. So I'm just kind of going to go into the middle of each one. Now it will move if you're using distress ink, you run the risk that it will move the distress ink around. So please be aware of that. If you feel like that is happening to you, um, then just scribble it off on a piece of cardstock so that way you're not carrying those colors. Alternatively, you can also go in like the shape of the firework so that if you're moving the ink around, it still looks like it's purposeful. You can also do like these areas where, there would be light catching. You can add a shimmer, little shimmer, shimmer. Why not, right? Okay. Now, does the distressing mess up your markers? Yeah, like I remember when are you talking about these ones? Those, no, it'll come off just as you scribble it off. But if you're talking about your alcohol markers, no, people have always said like, use at your own risk or whatever. So I still give the caveat, but I've actually never had my markers react with any ink that I've colored over. I color over distress inks, I color over distress oxides. I've never had an issue. All right, Stardust Stickles. This is honestly like the grade A glitter, if you ask me. And then in here, you can follow along with the embossing to add the glitters to it. You could also do dots in the sky. Just follow along with what's there because you have the more subtle shimmer that is in the marker, and then this shimmer is actually like raised. So I think it's worth it to put both in over here as well. And it's all glittery goodness. So let me pick her up so you can see all the glitters. I think she came out super cute. So let me bring me back in here. Hello again. Um, so I we switched sides. That's very interesting. I don't think that's ever happened before. So I think that this is super cute. I love the way that this came out. I hope that you guys like learned a lot. I did not see either Lisa or Betsy in here, so I am gonna just go ahead and pick a winner for our gift card. Um, let me. All right, we're just gonna We're just going to scroll randomly until we click on someone. Susan! Susan, you're it. Susan, you're the winner. Susan Foreman. Congratulations. So you want to email, let me put it up here for you. Hold on one second. You want to email Betsy at customercare@honeybeestamps.com to get your gift card so that you can do some shopping, and she'll be able to hook you up with that. If you guys know, I will take photos and I will post it over on the honeybee help me challenge group in the honeybee challenge group, so that you guys can see some kind of up close pictures and the glitters and all of that. I think it came out super cute. I think it's a great birthday card, or for 4th of July, celebrating 4th of July. So yeah, thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. I know that my lives are longer than Kelly's traditionally were, but I hope that you're enjoying them and you're learning from them. I hope you guys have a great holiday weekend, and I will see you on Monday with another premiere. So, all right.